So I've just had a really interesting thought from one of my hitchhikes that I really want to share. So as you know, this channel is about doing things for the most interesting story. That is getting outside of your comfort zone, having loads of experiences, and just living life to the fullest. Now one idea I really want to share is that to think of your life like a Bible, right? Or a Quran or whatever religious book you prefer. As someone that is non-religious, I'd like to share my unique perspective on this, right? With the Bible, it's full of loads and loads of stories, and each story has some lessons or some values that it hopes to teach to its followers, Christians that is. Now, in order to live the most enriching life, you need to have the most stories, the most interesting stories. And you can do that through having new experiences and just going outside of your comfort zone and just really living life to the fullest. So by having loads of stories, you have a lot of memories to share, and you essentially become more interesting and more capable as a person by having these experiences. So the first part of that is having loads of stories, loads of experiences. But through those stories, you learn a lot of things about yourself. And through these stories and experiences, you learn lessons, as you do at any stage in life. And if you just imagine your life now and some of the most influential experiences in your life, they could have been things that have scared you, that made you very sad, angry, maybe they made you very, very happy. Maybe they really shifted your perspective, your paradigm, your way of thinking. Now, if you think to those moments, along the way, you would have learned loads of interesting lessons. And there's a lot of universal ones that maybe you hear through lots of stories, maybe your parents taught you values. But through those stories, you can learn some interesting lessons. And it's these lessons that shape you as a person, that build your character. It's these lessons that you learn that become your values, and your values are what you take into you throughout your whole life. I'm sure I could give you some examples. Through hitchhiking to over 50 countries, I've learned that people are very, very kind, and I've learned that the barriers that we put behind people aren't always true, and through learning about people, we can learn about their stories. And I think through sharing these stories, we can teach each other lessons and values that we can share with other people, and maybe they get a new perspective. So what I want to say with this is that think of your life like a Bible and live your life to maximize the number of interesting stories you have. And through having these stories, through having these experiences, you learn lots and lots of lessons. I'm really young, but I've already learned a lot of lessons. And it could be something really small, like having your first job or making a new friend when you were 6 years old. But it's things along the way that you learn about yourself that ultimately create the character that you are today. It creates your identity, it creates how you think about yourself, and that ultimately projects how other people think about you as well. And through these stories, really shapes the beliefs about yourselves, and they could be limiting beliefs or they could be empowering beliefs as well. So think of your life like a Bible. Maximize the number of interesting stories you can have. Every time you have a life-altering experience, think about what you can learn on the way, what those lessons are. Maybe journal them, reflect on them, and through these lessons you have your values. And what you can do is you can think about, if your life was a Bible, what stories would be in this Bible, and what lessons have you learned through all of these experiences, and what values. If you have to teach it to your younger self or someone that was very similar to you now, but is maybe a bit younger, or maybe even talking to yourself in the future and reflecting on your life, what would be these lessons, what would be these values that you would remind your younger self? And this really shapes your life story. So your Bible is like a life story in a way, which as a non-religious person kind of really profoundly made me reflect for a moment about the experiences I have, the lessons they teach me in life, and the values I gain from it. Because when you're developing new relationships, when you are having new life-changing moments, you hold with you these values and these lessons, and they are what shape your life, and they are what you take with you onto any new chapter in your life. So yeah, closing thoughts. Your life is like a Bible. Have as many stories as possible. The lessons and the values you learn through these stories shape who you are today, and ultimately you have to be really proud of who you are, because every lesson, every value, of course there are shared values, shared lessons, but all of your stories are very, very unique to you, and they are essentially your life story. And I think what I love about listening to people's stories is you can maybe adopt some of these lessons, and you can learn what they learned as they went through these experiences. It's not as good as having first-hand experience, but I think it's really valuable listening to podcasts, listening to people's stories, and I think that really helps. So yeah, I'm in Aberdeen now, Aberdeen University. I'm hitchhiking north from here now, but I just thought I'd share this thought with you because I think it can really help someone to prioritise their life. And so this is the Hitchhiking Brit YouTube channel. It's mostly going to be about hitchhiking. There may be some life lessons in there that I've learned through hitchhiking as well. So if you are curious about hitchhiking or about my adventures frolicking around the globe, then be sure to follow, because there's so much content I have to get through of me in Ukraine, of me traveling through every country in Europe, of me in Tunisia. If you like travel, I think you're going to really enjoy it. So I'm going to enjoy Aberdeen for approximately 2 minutes and then hitchhike out of this town onto the Scottish coastline and beyond. See you guys. Thumbs up for more hitchhiking.